Hey guys, Dan here with Battlefield Curator. And as you know, in a previous video, I showed you guys a #1 Mark III that is dated 1908. The receiver's dated 1908, but the barrel's dated 1937. And I'm in the middle of restoring this #1 Mark III. So I'm gonna pretty much show you on a day-to-day basis what I'm doing to restore it. And hopefully it turns out to be a really good #1 Mark III. All right, so this is day one of trying to fully restore a barreled action for a Lee Enfield #1 Mark III, dated 1908. Still has the magazine cutoff here. So far, I've been doing a lot of scrubbing and cleaning, so there was a lot of dust buildup right up in here. And still, there's some rust in there. But there was a ton of cosmoline just caked on there, so you can still see there's cosmoline caked on here. There's wet cosmoline still in the chamber and going all the way into the barrel. So I'm gonna have to use some mineral spirits and put that down the barrel and get all that cosmoline out of there. And then for the dried cosmoline that's pretty much on the action, I'm going to attempt to use carburetor cleaner. All right, day two with the Lee Enfield here I'm restoring. So yeah, a big flathead screwdriver is not gonna fit in here. It's there's a little leather piece in there that prevents the screw right here, the screwdriver from actually getting into the head of the screw. So I've put together a ratcheting wrench so I can get that screw out, and then we can continue on here. Probably gonna clean out the barrel of all that cosmoline and then see what happens from there. All right, day three. I've gathered some extra parts and some bolts. I'm gonna see if I can get some of these parts to really fit, you know, on this action, and try to piece some stuff together. All right, so day four, I went to Edgefield, South Carolina to see Brian at BDL Limited. He is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to Lee Enfields. He has been working on Lee Enfields for decades. He's even been to England and learned from the armors there themselves. He took a course on Lee Enfields. So when it comes to Lee Enfields, I'm sure he is probably one of the most, if not the most, knowledgeable person about Lee Enfields in the US. So first I brought him this bolt and we took a look at it, and I told him about these deformations right here on the lugs. He looked at it, he put it in the receiver, and it looked like, yeah, those were not gonna work. So what ended up happening was we took the bolt head off this one, original bolt head that was on this one, and we put it on another bolt that I had, and that ended up actually working really, really well. So this is pretty much essentially right now is today we got this bolt pretty much working in this action, so this is going to be pretty good. Other than that, I spent a lot of time over there learning about Lee Enfields. Have another video that's going to come out about Lee Enfields, or maybe I already put it out, I don't know yet. But yeah, so pretty much that's a lot of the knowledge that I got from Brian. And hopefully you guys watch that Lee Enfield video. I'll link it in the description, and learn what I learned from Brian. And then another thing that he did with this action here is that he actually headspaced it just to make sure everything lined up correctly. He had a headspace gauge. He took the gauge and he just kind of stuck it right in here, and he pushed it forward and used the go gauge and the no-go gauge just to test it out. And he said it was pretty good. It didn't have any issues with head spacing. So that's great. That means that I can actually bring this #1 Mark III back to life and not have any issues with it. All right, guys, so another thing that just happened here is I took apart the bolt that I was using. There's an issue with the spring on the firing pin spring. It's broke in 2 pieces, so I'm gonna have to replace that. So I've taken the spring off this one. I might as well just use that firing pin as well. All right, so I've had a lot going on, and I've finally been able to catch up to the Enfield project. So this is day 5 that I'm looking at, working at on the project. So I'm looking at stocks. What do I have here? Let's see. I've got this Australian stock, but it's missing the 2 draws right here, so that's shot. I've got this Enfield stock here, but it's got crack there, missing one of the draws, missing a little piece of the wood there. Yeah, this one's trash too. It could be repairable, you know, both those could be repairable, but it's going to take some time. This stock here is another Enfield stock. I think it's a BSA, but man, this thing looks like it was just soaked in cosmoline for decades. And the wood's just very soft. Every time I fix it, I go shoot it, I think I make a really good dowel repair on it, and somewhere else it cracks. So, yeah, it just keeps cracking in all different places. So, probably not the best candidate here. And thanks to another YouTuber named Delete GTA Trash Grinders, he sent me this stock right here, and this one's like really, really good. I mean, this one's, the draws are perfect, you know, and the action sits right up in there. It's really snug. As long as I don't, you know, wiggle it out like this all the time, it should be good. And those draws will stay really strong and tight. And that's what we want with a stock. We want these draws to fit in the receiver to fit nice and tight in these draws over here. So thanks, Delete GTA Trash Grinders. And yeah, so let's put the stock on. All right, day 6 working on the Enfield, and I finished it. It's actually over there. But yeah, so here's the test fire that I did with it. I had some issues though. I'll show you what I mean. These butt stocks here, first of all, you know, you want to make sure that you have the right bolt for the Forestock that you have. So this has a squared end. Since the Forestock that I'm using is a newer type with the big metal reinforcement, the metal reinforcement going all the way around and wrapping around and kind of just holding in that Forestock there. You have to use a bolt that's circular, does not square, because this square piece will stick out. This is for the old style during World War I and World War II. You want to use a rounder bolt. I don't have one in here. The problem number 2 was that these stocks right here where they fit into the receiver are somewhat different sizes. They're not all made perfectly. Like this buttstock fit, but I don't want to use this one because it's sporterized. You can see that right there. See how the one I'm holding here is a little bit more defined shape. This one looks like it was sanded. It was glossed over. It doesn't look original. You know, you could really tell from afar that, even from a far away distance, that, hey, there's something wrong with this. So, yeah, I didn't want to use this. But the butt stock that I was going to use just didn't fit right. So what I did was I sanded off this corner piece. I realized that the difference really was in the corner pieces here. So what I did was I sanded a little bit off the corner piece and the top side right here to get that buttstock to fit properly. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the problems I had with it. All right, well, that's it for the video. I got this project together. You know, I used an assembly of different parts I had laying around from a few different DP or drill purpose Enfields that were made in Ishapur, India, the Ishapur factory in India from the 1950s. And those are still, you can still find the drill purpose rifles around. Now, you might not get a perfect stock. You might not get perfect parts. Most, if not all of the parts are going to be marked DP, which stands for drill purpose. So it really takes away from the authenticity of the rifle itself, especially if it's like British rifle and it's in working order. If somebody just takes a close-up look at it and it says DP all over some of the parts. So, you know, they get a little like weird about it, you know, and like it's not totally original. But hey, if you want something that you want to take from a sporter and bring it back to original military configuration for real cheap, then that's the way I did it, and that's the way I think that most of you guys should go if you're going to do it on the cheap. If you want to do a little bit more on the expensive side, you can go to all different parts website and get a parts list and just kind of go down and accumulate the parts over time. But yeah, so if you like this kind of content, be sure to pulverize the like button and subscribe for the algorithms. It really helps out with the growth of the channel. And as always, be sure to learn history and curate history. Make it a great day.